Running at top speed on television. Here's your look at the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse, the Flash TV series, The Flash. In the 7th season of the hit CW show, we find Mirror Master escaping from the Mirrorverse. The Speed Force is destroyed. Other new forces are unleashed upon Central City, and Godspeed is back, using Speed clones to help him destroy Barry Allen. With a new Team Flash, Barry must navigate the incredible threats, all while looking for his wife Iris, and dealing with the Speedster children from the future. Before we spend some more time with the Scarlet Speedster, I'd like to thank the folks over at McFarlane Toys, who did provide the sample of TV Flash that we could have a look at in this video. Grabbing now the tape measure, just to see how tall the figure, of course, does stand. Taking it right to the very top of Flash's head, you're looking at a figure that's about 6.5 inches in height, or the figure's going to be roughly almost 17 centimeters tall. Finding some other Flashes for comparisons, here's what he looks like next to the 2-pack Flash that came included with Red Death. This Flash, notably, does have the more angrier look on his face, slightly more warped also, his little lightning bolts sticking out from his head. Still going to have to fix those. But you can see, like, nothing is shared from one figure to the other. Not only is the plastic a different color, but it looks like they're completely using a brand new mold for Grant Gustin's here. Another figure we can also bring in is Ezra Miller's Flash. Troubled waters the man is in right now. I don't even know if they're just going to completely scrap that Flash movie. I almost feel like they should, even though all the work was put in there by other actors and actresses, and of course the film crew that made that movie possible. Ezra Miller's got a lot of problems going for him right now, though. But at least it shows you what Flash looks like from various different incarnations. We have like comic Flash here, we have TV Flash, and then we have, at least for the right now, movie Flash to compare with. As for Flash's accessories, the figure comes included first with a display stand. It's the same circular black disc as we've gotten countless times before. There's one lone peg just off to the side, keeping to himself. Don't worry, little tiny peg. You'll actually find your place underneath the foot of Flash. Actually, you can peg it into either one of Flash's feet. Then there's also the DC logo down below here. Now, I almost feel in a case like this, while I do appreciate the fact that we get ourselves a stand like this, if you're going to be getting like TV tied-in characters like Grant Gustin's Flash, would have been fun if they could have also printed the Flash logo on the display stand instead of the familiar DC logo. Still, no harm, no foul. I love the fact that we do get ourselves a display stand. Count how many times companies have included display stands with their figure line. Probably going to be counting on one hand. Figure also comes included with a trading card. Trading card is rather handy because it also shows you where the accessories that also come included with the figure are supposed to go. The lightning bolts will go inside of his hand. They're not going to attach onto the figure's body. However, though, he does have himself a little shoulder deco, a little lightning bolt that you can actually attach onto his torso. I'll show you guys how that works in a second. It does seem, though, at least with the figure photography that they've used, that the Flash comes across slightly more darker, more of a darker red, a darker yellow, and it also seems perhaps like they've digitally altered his face just a little bit. On the back, though, it tells you that his real name is Barry Allen, in case you didn't already know that. And a fairly easy to digest paragraph. You can either pause and read for yourself. It also happens to be the same thing I read at the very beginning of this video. I'm going to put that also to the side. Okay, let's have a look at the accessories, the non-display stand, non-trading card accessories. Flash comes included with these lightning bolts. They don't seem to be, at least, well, maybe they are, mirror copies to one another. I just had it flipped the other way. They're made of more of a softer plastic, a translucent yellow plastic. And for some reason, it kind of reminds me of undercooked pasta. Not quite al dente. I mean, I've actually had relatives that cook it even, not even to the point of al dente, where you're literally just crunching into pasta. This sort of looks like uncooked pasta. I mean, pretty crazy looking pasta, but it still looks like pretty much like pasta. Again, it's softer plastic that they would have used for these. These don't attach anywhere on Flash's body other than in his hands. You can go ahead and take them, and you're literally just going to take and pry his fingers away from his palm and then just fit anywhere you feel there's a best grip to it. Just attach the lightning bolts into his hand. It works okay, you know, I think for Flash. I mean, I think I would have been happier to probably have just energy, like like electricity that could wrap somewhere around his body instead of just giving him lightning bolts. Ultimately, I don't think I'm going to be displaying these with TV Flash. Much rather, instead, I think I'm going to be displaying it with, say, the likes of Black Adam. That's definitely more of an accessory I could picture with Black Adam. What do you guys think? Let me know down below. So he comes with those. And then, of course, the figure also comes included with this lightning collar piece. Just get the figure to completely stand so he's not going to fall over on me. There we go. Figure comes also included with this little collar piece. It's, again, soft, undercooked pasta. It's not really pasta, but it's very pliable plastic. You can see really the way it's going to open and wrap around the top of his torso. You know, for what it is, it's pretty good. I mean, it's something at least that you can have displayed along with the figure. And we're going to go ahead and just wrap it around his collar piece. Now, the way they've looped the sides of it kind of conform nicely to his shoulders. Sort of have to just push it down just a little bit. Sort of looks like he's being attacked by undercooked spaghetti. But still makes for a nice looking, different look for Flash. I might actually even just take some of the other accessories that come included with other Flashes and maybe just wrap them around his body. Because again, like, I don't mind the fact that they give us these electricity bolts. But I think I would have much rather just have something that could wrap around his arms, wrap around his legs, just kind of give him the idea that he's engulfed in the Speed Force energy. But he comes included with that as well. Just go ahead and take that off. As for the head sculpt on TV Flash, I think it's pretty good, actually. It does resemble quite well the likeness of actor Grant Gustin, who I don't think, is he still playing Flash? Haven't they planned to wrap up now the series with the final season? You can let me know down below. I have watched probably, I think, the first 2 seasons collectively and sort of just trailed off after that. Grant Gustin made for a good-looking Flash, but I'm still a big fan of John Wesley Shipp, the original Flash, who had the sculpted armor suit that he was wearing. This Flash actually is a little bit more leaner, although it's not really quite replicated here as the figure. I mean, like, the head sculpt is really good. I just didn't want to rush quickly through the head sculpt just to show you guys what it looks like. Skin tone that they chose is quite good. I think I also like the plastic color that they went with for this specific red. And of course, you got the gold there for the little lightning bolts on the sides of his head. Okay, as for the rest of his body, this is the one thing I feel like the figure is a little more on the bulkier side. His abdomen isn't so bad. I mean, I think that's a good width for it. And of course, his limbs, lean and mean. I mean, I think they're of the proper size. If anything, I would feel like maybe his torso, like this part right here, is a little bit too thick on the figure. Would have thinned that out just a little bit, because Grant Gustin is a pretty thin-looking actor anyways, and even when he puts on like the skin-tight suit, it makes him look even thinner. I don't know if I would say it replicates that well here in the figure. It's sculpted really nicely, and I do like all the panel lining that they've added here in the yellow, but I almost feel like his torso, this part right here, outlining it with my finger like you didn't already know what I was talking about, does seem a little more on the thicker side. I do like the way they've raised the emblem, not just relying on painting it onto the surface of the plastic. They have actually lifted it and painted it nice in both the white and the gold. He does have the trim there off to the shoulders that, again, is all raised on this figure. I mean, it's somewhat soothing, actually, when you run your finger along. Is that strange? Running the finger along the contoured sculpting of some of the things that they add to the figure's costumes. But he does have it there on the shoulder. They've also added some additional meshing there on his shoulder, too, which is also carried over a bit here onto his torso as well. So even though there is a lot of the same red being used, I don't really see a lot of real paint being applied other than just the gold we already talked about. At least the parts that actually are just the bare plastic do have differencing in different textures that they've added in there as well. So there's a lot still to take in, even though there's just really a lot of the same burgundy plastic that they would have then used. I do like the belt. The belt is a nice touch. They have raised and lifted that the same way they've done the emblem, and that's also been given that nice metallic gold. The gold actually looks really good on this figure in all the places that I can see. He has it here on his gauntlet, at least on his wrist section. He also has it lower down here on his legs. The thing that this Flash does not have is, again, the little wings there on the bottoms of his feet, but at least he does have it on the top of his head. For the articulation here on TV Flash, his head does rotate all the way around. You can have the head looking down and looking up. And would you believe, it also can go back and forth as well. Remarkable that ball joints can do all that. You can bring the arms out, and you can also take those same arms and rotate them all the way around. Figure does have a bicep swivel. He does also possess a double hinge on the elbow, like pretty much all the other multiverse figures we've already had a look at. Hands rotate all the way around, and yeah, you can hinge them also back and forth. Talking a little bit about his, again, thicker top torso, it is on a ball joint, so you can rotate it all the way around. And then further down, just concealed behind his lightning belt, he does actually have a secondary ball joint working there as well. The legs always again going to the crotch section of these figures, does have a ratcheted joint on the inside, the interior of his thighs. You can take the legs and bring them forward. You can bring them back. Now, this, I'm going to just move his arms out of the way here for this. This lower part just around his waist area, just before it connects to the thighs, is actually more of a softer plastic. This is hard plastic. This is also hard plastic, but right here is more of a softer plastic. Periodically, though, I've noticed myself at least, moving the legs forward and back, every once in a while, this gets tucked inside, so I have to kind of just fish it back out. Oh, you almost saw it there for a second. But yeah, the legs split out. Decent splits, actually, here on TV Flash. You double hinge on the knee, so you've got that working for you. No articulation here in the boots. The top of the boots are just molded to the rest of the lower leg, but at least he does have ankle articulation this way, a little tighter on my figure, has ankle articulation this way, and then the figure also does have toe articulation as well. And yeah, I mean, really, makes for a good-looking Flash. Short of the fact that I did say, like, his torso, like, let me just make sure he's a little more centered. Short of, like, this part right here, I think could have been tapered off just a little bit more. It does make for a nice-looking Flash, though, especially if you're a big fan of the TV series. Once again, we're just going to bring in comic Flash, and we're also going to bring Ezra Miller's Flash. Funny enough, though, actually, these two did meet in the TV series. If Ezra Miller is not careful, he probably will find himself doing TV shows or even TV commercials, even if, I don't know if anyone's going to hire him now. Guy's got lots of problems. But I do like the way the different versions of Flash that we have been given here by McFarlane's Toys. Of course, there's different outlets available. If you only are just a big fan of the comic Flash, then yes, this Flash was released 2 times over. The TV Flash is certainly good for fans of this series. This one actually sort of more based on, I think, the 7th season. And I think they are actually now wrapping up the Flash TV series. Many have really advocated to have Grant Gustin take over the role of Ezra Miller in Flash. I don't know if I would necessarily have had him coming over from the TV series to then reprise his role of Flash in the movie. I think that gets just a little bit more complicated. Of course, you've got the multiverse. That's always there to work in the favor of anyone who's deciding later on to rewrite, maybe write out some actors that have appeared in their films. But for me, I think if anything, if you're going to get rid of Ezra Miller, it's just a side rant. If you're going to get rid of Ezra Miller, I would just recast him altogether. As good as Grant Gustin was for the Flash that I saw, at least of him, he made for a good Flash, but I don't know if he would be good enough to carry him over to a movie Flash. Let me know down below if that's something you guys would certainly like to see. I will probably justify my reasons for not finishing off the rest of the Flash series, as what I started watching with Flash, the show got a little more on the ridiculous side. Everybody became superheroes, and before you knew it, it watered down the effect of having Flash being the standalone superhero. Now, I know Flash obviously does team up with many people in the comics, but when you do bring in so many people into a TV series, it loses, I feel, a little bit of the appeal. And maybe one of the reasons why not only I stopped watching the TV series Flash, but one of the reasons why I still like the John Wesley ship, as I feel to be the superior Flash series. Despite what little time I've spent committed to the Flash TV show, I gotta say, like, Grant Gustin, for what I have seen of him, made for a good-looking Barry Allen, both in the costume that he wears, although he changes his suit quite a lot in the show, and also for the way he acts as Flash. I mean, he fits well as a Barry Allen Flash, and it translates also really well here as a figure produced by McFarlane Toys. This one here, as you can see, I've got it more in a running pose, something that can only really be pulled off by the included display stand. So once again, I do like the fact that McFarlane team is one of the few companies still that are including display stands with their figures. Other companies really need to take notice. Not everybody really wants to display their figures standing straight on a shelf. You really do want it from time to time, especially with a character that runs all the time like Flash, to be able to put him on a display stand and not have him falling over. And you can do that with the included display stand. As for the rest of the accessories that he comes included with, that collar piece lightning part is about the only thing I think I'm going to have displayed with the figure. While I like the fact that they did include the lightning bolts, I don't know if it's something I would consider displaying with Flash here. It certainly works well with a character like Black Adam. So if Black Adam doesn't come included with lightning bolts, I already know who I'm going to be pillaging those lightning bolts from. The figure has a good sculpting to it. Most of it is probably just the plastic, and they've only then just painted the stripes of the gold on top of it. But, you know, to be fair, it does work well for the figure. The only other thing I would say, though, is, again, like the torso seems a bit on the bulkier side. I would have just tapered and trimmed that off just a little bit to make Flash look a little leaner like he does in the series. On that, though, great looking figure from the folks over at McFarlane Toys. What do you guys think of the figure? Let me know down below in the comment section. And did you guys enjoy the Grant Gustin run of Flash? Which, as far as I know, may or may not still be going on. You can definitely let me know down below in the comment section. Is the Flash series still running? I see what I did there. Still running. Big thank you, though, to the folks over at McFarlane Toys that did once again provide the sample of the Grant Gustin TV series Flash that we could have a look at in this review. If you guys like this video, why not hit it with a like? If you're loving the content and certainly want to stick around for more, then hit the subscribe button down below and turn the bell notification on. Hitting the bell notification, I know it sounds tiring after a while of me always saying that, but it's your way to at least guarantee that you're going to get those notifications and that these videos are going to be popping up in your subscription feed. Sometimes by not turning on the bell notification, you may not be aware of any new videos that are showing up from this channel. So again, best way to fix it, turning on the bell notification. We're going to also be having a look at FYI, some future DC Multiverse reviews. So if that's the thing that you have maybe been missing out here on this channel and wished I would cover off more, there's definitely going to be a lot more coming your way. As always, guys, thanks for watching. See you guys next time.